Will Sasso went on Lex Friedman's podcast, and Lex asked him about the 10-minute podcast, the podcast Will did with Chris D'Elia and Bryan Callen, and if he ever plans on doing it again with them. So I'm going to play this, react to it, and give you my thoughts on it. But let's see what Will Sasso had to say about Chris D'Elia and Bryan Callen.
7 years of that thing? 6, 7, I don't remember.
Do you think it ever comes back in some small form as a 20-minute podcast or something like that? I mean, is there, because it's one of the most requested, but I mean, you have a huge fan base.
I'm 47 years old. So I am of the generation that has had a cell phone half the time and didn't for the formative years of my life into my early 20s. Mm-hmm. And then finally I got a cell phone. I guess I was like 19 or something. Just literally just because of moving to LA.
You got porn in the mail.
Yes, that's right. It was the hard cover porn. That's the way we liked it. Bound, nice binding on the porn, leather
next to the Bible
cover.
Yeah.
Yep. These are my Encyclopedia Britannica. Wow, very impressive. Yes, a man came to the house and sold me these, and then down here this is my pornography. If you'll follow me through here to the parlor, sir.
It's passed through the generations from grandfather to father.
Yeah. I want to give you something very special to me, Nebuchadnezzar. So
you grew up in a generation without a cell phone.
Yes. It's hard for me to connect with people who hit me up. I look at everything as polling. So if one person hits me up and shares this opinion, but two other people hit me up and share that, I'm the worst. Don't follow my polls. When people say, "Oh, that poll means absolutely nothing," so-and-so is going to win anyway, that's my poll. My poll means nothing. But I do look at the stuff and go, this many people are saying this. That means that number is saying that. And yet it's very hard for me to hear what the hell people are saying online.
Yeah.
I can't connect to it sometimes personally. So when you say that that's a popular podcast, like I know that it's popular with the people that have expressed that they love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, what does that actually represent?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of people are the audience. I don't know. I know that the people that listen to the 10-minute podcast, and if you did, thank you. And we're friends. I know that it was a special thing because it's like, just doing this out of my house, and we just built it up out of nowhere, and we're just kind of clowning around. It's an odd thing.
I hope I personally, I think I speak for the two people that have reached out to you that said you should do it, or whatever, 3 people, the poll, that you should bring it back at some point. That would be beautiful.
Oh my God.
Maybe it's like what's a good story of like a famous band that came back and was successful? Probably
Nirvana? No. It was not. It wasn't Nirvana. Sorry, I got Nirvana mixed up with Aerosmith.
Yeah.
It was Aerosmith.
It was Aerosmith.
Yeah.
It's not Nirvana.
They had that second ride.
Different.
Yeah, totally different ending to those two bands. One ended up on American Idol.
Yeah, a lot of interesting women involved in that one too. All right.
My God, that Lex Friedman is a creep. How many bodies are buried in that guy's backyard? But that was Will Sasso's way of just saying the obvious. Dude, bring back the podcast. Don't you think it's kind of odd we stopped doing it the second they got accused? Like, the second they got accused, that podcast was done, and Will Sasso was done with Chris D'Elia and Bryan Callen. Sort of like the way Whitney Cummings was. She was done. And Bryan Callen and Chris D'Elia have talked about this, about their so-called Hollywood friends who turned on them the second they got accused. Now, they didn't really go off and say explicit names, but we know who their friends were. Whitney Cummings, Will Sasso, and Will Sasso will never do that podcast with them again. Hell, he'll never be a guest on any of their podcasts ever again. Will Sasso will never go on The Fighter and the Kid, or King of the Sting, or Congratulations, or Bryan Callen's podcast. So, he made his decision, And his decision was, those dudes are accused of that. We can never work again professionally. And he's going to keep it moving on. And so he's done with him. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.